In this exercise video, we're going to be going through how to start doing some impact training to help with bladder control and irritation, as well as leakage. So we're going to work on a modified version of some jog in place, so that way we can progress into regular jogging with less of the bladder symptoms. So what we're going to start off with doing is using a wall or a countertop for some support to decrease the strain and gravity effect that we have on the bladder when we're fully upright. So we're going to get onto a wall with ourselves leaning forward. This takes the bladder and takes it a little bit out of the pelvis, so that way we have less of the gravity pulling it down. When we are leaning against the wall, we're just going to hold on lightly here. You don't have to be totally stiff arm, maybe a little elbow bend so you're nice and soft through your arms. And I want you to think about getting tall spine and lift your chest up. So you want to try to find this long spine posture. So we don't want to be rounded forward like this. This is going to make our symptoms worse. We got to think about lengthening our spine and flattening our belly. So we are trying to go from anything like we're this. We don't want to be arching through our back, but we also don't want to be rounding forward here. So we want to think long spine, flat spine posture as much as possible. From here, once we have our posture there, we're going to engage our lower belly by zipping up and trying to pull your two pelvic bones together. And you should see a flattening effect in your lower belly and a lifting of your belly button in. So once we have our posture and our core engaged, we're then going to start up with one leg up and one leg down. From here, with our core engaged and our posture maintained, we're going to quickly hop onto the other foot and try to shock absorb. And then we're going to, nice and easy, go back and forth between the legs and trying to think about making this landing as soft as possible. So we don't want to be landing and hearing heavy footfalls. We should be thinking, making that sound as quiet as possible as we're going back and forth. With this, if you are doing this motion and going between the legs and you start getting a little leakage, then that's your sign to stop. We don't want to be pushing through the leakage. So if you're starting to get some of that, go ahead and stop, take a little break, come back, re-engage your core and focus on the posture again to see if that helps correct it. If you still continue to leak, you either need to decrease the time you're performing this exercise. So if you've been prescribed maybe a minute of doing this, maybe you need to cut it down to 45 or 30 seconds. But reach out to your physical therapist for specific instructions if you're having a problem with this causing leakage. If you feel a little bit of some irritation or bladder pulling, that's okay as long as we're not getting leakage. But we should see a minimization of those symptoms as we get stronger and get used to this. One thing as you're going through this and you're doing your side to side, we want to think about keeping those knees as you're coming down and keeping them centered over your foot. So that way we are getting good stability from our hips as we're going through. So we don't want to be doing this every time our leg hits the ground. We got to think about keeping that knee straight on with this exercise. To try to make it as soft of a landing as possible, what you really need to work on is trying to think about shock absorbing from the foot and ankle first. So feeling a good bend and cushion, and then getting that shock absorption also from your knee bending. So we want to think about soft, almost like you're landing and going into a single leg squat, versus if you're stiff-legged, then you're going to hear that much harder impact and you're going to feel more vibration in your body. So try to think about shock absorbing through the foot and ankle and then through the knee to minimize the force as it gets to your abdomen. So those are some cues to work on here, but follow the instructions from your physical therapist and reach out to them if you have any concerns.